I'm Aprylisa, and I am here with Sean McNamara. Sean is a teacher of meditation and telekinesis, and we're here today to talk to him about a class that I just took with him and his two amazingly well-written, well-structured, amazing books that you've got to buy. The first one's called Defy Your Limits, and the second one is Meditation X, and we'll talk about those a little later after we have a talk about the class. So that was a wild experience.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So glad we could do that.
Yeah. So you're teaching classes live and online, is that right?
I have an online course and the books, of course, but then lately I've started teaching live classes in Denver. And to be honest, I've only taught 2 official public classes. I've taught people privately before that.
Right.
So I'm only getting started teaching, and each time I'm scared, like, is this going to work this time? Are people going to do it? And every time people have had really great success with it. And I'm glad tonight we had good success too.
Oh,
so.
It was off the charts. It was amazing. It was really crazy. And I first saw a friend of mine post about his class, and then met Sean online because I friended him on Facebook. You'd need to go to his Facebook page. And then we connected and said, let's do this class and let's document it. And you're documenting these processes for what? Why are you documenting it like you are?
I really want to take telekinesis out of the realm of mystery or like it's a science fiction, Hollywood type of thing, and really make it accessible for anyone who wants to learn and for them to experience this for themselves, because it's really it's a human thing, it's a natural thing. We are energy beings, and I think somehow as a society, because we're so into material things and instant results, we've separated from that part of ourselves. And I think just telekinesis is more than just moving something with your mind. That's cute. I mean, it's really cool. But the deeper aspect, the profound aspect of it is that it shows us our true nature, that we are, as Robert Monroe says, we're more than our physical bodies. And this shows that we're intention, that we're energy, that there's something far more to us, and that we actually connect. That telekinesis isn't about connecting to just a physical object and making something turn or move. It shows that we're always connecting with each other, or with our dogs and cats, or with our plants, and with Mother Earth. That, you know, that bumper sticker, thoughts are things, so be careful what you think. You know, it's true. It shows that we really have an impact. So I think by getting telekinesis out there to the public, it just supports what people already know, or maybe they've forgotten, and helps them remember. And then as humans, we come back to this.
Exactly. And that was my curiosity, because I'm an energy medicine practitioner, and I work in this realm all the time. And I see results on my table, people feel them, but the way that you're doing this is showing people right in front of them the biofeedback of movement, if you will, the metaphysical feedback, not just biofeedback. The biophotonic feedback probably is involved with that too. But that was my curiosity about taking the class. And so would you like to tell me a little bit more about how you structure the class so people are successful and can successfully do this?
Yeah, I seem to have found a nice formula that works, and I introduce people to what I call TRIAM, T-R-I-A-M, and those are the essential ingredients. Time, which means we have to be patient. Relaxation, so relaxing the body and the mind, which really gets us out of our everyday consciousness, out of the beta state, down into alpha and theta, which really means the relaxed, meditative, daydreamy state of mind, which connects more to our deeper self anyway. It's less rational. And then using our intention, our mental intention. And I think people, because they're aware of things like the book, The Secret, or the Law of Attraction, The Power of Intention, they know that. But here with intention is one of those aspects of this that shows you that intention is real. And then attention, how we pay attention to the little object, which again connects to how we pay attention to each other, how we pay attention to our lives, to our business, to our goals, to our heart. Because where we pay attention tells the energy where to go.
Right. Yeah.
And then if you have time, relaxation, intention, attention,
Right.
put them together, that equals movement.
Right.
So if you get all that right, then it just happens on its own. So people don't really have to make it happen, they just allow it to happen. So I take them through a process of relaxing, learning how to tune into...
Sorry.
That's right. Learning how to tune into that sensation of intention in the mind, that little bubble. So it's not a word. It's not like saying, move, or gritting your teeth. It's actually just that feeling.
It's a state.
It's a state. And it's not an ego state. It's a non-ego state, I think.
So whatever that is that happens when we connect, and we're connecting through the quantum or whatever field we're in with the object that we're using in the class. And can I share my experience in class? Yeah. It was kind of crazy.
When I saw your experience, what you were doing, I thought, I want to be her client. Because obviously you've got something going on. You know, so please. Yeah,
thank you. Yeah. That was great. No, I went to it like a little fish to water, and we'll talk about fish later in my experience. But first he took the object, we made our little tent of aluminum and put it in our glass, which kept it from being influenced by air currents. And I started moving it. I could move my hands around and it would follow my hands in track, and I could push it with my finger in different places. And as we went deeper into the relaxation exercises, what I felt was a lot of the energy through the breath exercises that you taught, for me, were coming more from the lower chakras, from the Danchen area. Where other people in class said it was heart energy, for me it really felt more from the Danchen. And I'm a Reiki teacher, and of course I wanted to use a little bit of that. And I found the more I tried, the less fun it was. And just to connect with my object and appreciate it, because it was beautiful. That was one of the things I noticed, is that when I put my hands around the glass, there was a lot of activity. When I backed off and started just using my mind projection, where my connection happened with my object was appreciation of its beauty. Because there was beautiful light reflecting off the edges of it. I'm an artist as well as a healer. So I was noticing that, and I found the more I said, oh, you're so beautiful, I appreciate that, and I felt kind of connected to that beauty, it would move. That was really cool. And then I named it Felix, like a cat. And 2 times mine would spin, but one time, one of my friends who was at the table, she uses sigils in her practice of magic, and I put in a little sigil and I sent it to my object and it moved, and I was just thinking of her and what she was, and to tell her to use a sigil. And at that moment she had brought in one of her entities or her energies that she uses in her magic, and she said she thought of it knocking over one of the little pieces off of the balance, and mine flew off its balance. So that was hilarious and adorable. And then the second time, I had named it Felix, and it was a cat. And we had put 3 of the objects in a glass container, and as a group we're moving them. And I was having this conversation with Felix, and at one point it turned around, and the shape of the light coming off of it was like a little fish. And I heard it say, I'm a catfish. And just as I said, hello, Felix, and I waved at it, it flew off of its little balance. And it was pretty hilarious. Everybody broke out in laughter, because incredible timing. So what I found curiosity about, is there such thing as an inanimate object?
That's one of those eternal questions. I mean, I think so many different types of spirituality have an answer to it, to that question. Everyone has their own version of that answer, and I don't have my own answer. I mean, I've been told from different traditions what that answer is, but what I love about telekinesis is that gives rise to these questions in a way we can investigate.
Yes.
But that is such a juicy one, because I've wondered, am I extending my sense of being to this object? Am I giving life to it?
Yeah.
Or am I contacting its own life? Are we one? Are we, is that non-dual thing, or
Right.
duality, or all together?
Right.
And one's fake and the other one's the deeper truth?
Was I creating a reality from my extended imagination with Felix, creating this relationship, and was that imagination creating a paradigm or some sort of what do you call it? Some reality, because I was creating it through my imagination. We don't know.
There's so many questions. This reminds me of, I had a lucid dream months ago in which I was in this mall.
Yeah.
And there were lots of people walking around, and I knew I was in the dream, I was lucid.
Yeah.
And I said, everybody stop.
Ooh.
And everyone in the mall stopped, except this one guy was walking along, and he had headphones on. And I just noticed him out of the corner of my eye, and then I looked back again, and he's standing there, and he goes like this. He takes his headphones off, he goes, "Are you dreaming too?"
Whoa!
So it's like, who's dreaming? What's the dream?
Right.
And with
right.
telekinesis, am I telling it what to do, or is it listening and responding?
Exactly.
It's so easy. I think it's so easy for a skeptic, for a closed-minded skeptic to say, "You're loony."
Yeah.
Maybe you're just sending static electricity to it and it's moving. There's nothing deeper than that going
Yeah.
on. But we've shown some people were standing 10
Right.
feet away and moving it. So this
Right.
isn't static. I think there are deeper questions and deeper answers that we can find through this kind of work. So
And there are, and there's two things I want to talk about. And one is, as we're moving more and more into singularity, or towards more of an AI future, and what will our relationship be with machines if we start using these kind of telepathic or telekinesis facilities that we have? Will that be a relationship that we eventually have with machines, and will that create a sentience in the machine? That's a question. The other is, if this is part of the human experience, it's kind of amoral. It's just a gift. It's something that we have. But I'm sure you've come up against different interpretations. Would you like to talk about that?
well, I'd say these days, for every 100 positive email messages or YouTube comments that I get, there's still one that shows up where it's someone quoting me something from the Bible, or someone saying what you're doing is evil, or you're opening a door to something, or something along those lines. And in my first book, I mentioned Helen Duncan, the British medium, who within the last 100 years, she was accused, they still had witchcraft laws on the books in the UK, right? I think she was the last person to be charged with witchcraft at the time. And so here, this brings that out in people. I mean, there's fear if they don't understand it. There's their own background, religious background, which we have to respect. Lack of information too, because someone could read a book on quantum physics and very nicely have an understanding about what might be happening here, and it really seems understandable and neutral. It's not evil, it's not good, it's just...
It just is. It's part of our natural makeup.
It's totally natural. So there's that aspect to it, so... And the hard thing is, I've realized I cannot change anyone's belief system. They have to change their own system in their own way at their own time. But it's funny to me that people still have these responses to this phenomena, because if you use a garage door opener, if you microwave your food,
right?
If you use a cell phone to talk to someone across the world, it's all energy. And I think the reason they're not scared of it is because, well, it comes off of the assembly line at a factory. Like, oh, scientists made it, and now it's made in China, and it works really well. So there's that understanding. But what's the difference really between microwave technology or radar or X-rays and whatever the energy is inside of our body? And we're already learning more about biophotons and other forces that are happening in the body. We know that the heart and the brain produce their own electromagnetic fields, and so they're...
And the Danchan.
And yes, absolutely.
The three brains.
So, and that's just it. There are other spiritualities that are totally in sync with this, that understand what this is.
Yeah.
So Qigong, Tai Chi,
And there's a
yoga.
movement, global movement. I mean, more and more people are opening up to these kind of things as it's more accessible. Like your YouTube channel, which you have to check them out, and your books, which are really clearly written. And once again, what was the first book called?
Oh, it's called Defy Your Limits, and I named it that. I titled it that because when I learned how to do this, I had to defy my own doubts, my own hesitation, my own laziness. It took me 2.5 months of trying every day for about 45 minutes or an hour.
Wow.
And every day I thought, is this real?
Wow.
Or can I do it? Or am I fooling myself? You know, I kind of felt like a jackass sitting there staring at this thing thinking, I'm going to make it turn, you know. So I'd beat myself up every day, but the next day I'd try again. So 2.5 months, and one day it started to move. And my wife was asleep, so I went and woke her up.
You're excited.
Honey. And she's like, well, of course you did. She's always very supportive.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, she's a lucid dreamer. And she does this stuff in her dreams. So after I was successful a few times, I said, honey, why don't you try it? And the first time she sat down and did it, she succeeded.
So that's where I said the same thing when I sat down. I said, this is just like in lucid dreaming when you and you nodded your head. So that was great. So this what he's teaching in his classes is accessible to anybody. We just sat down with people, and in 2 hours they were doing it. And a variety of kinds of people. Most of us are open to energy, obviously, in this particular class. And yet, it's part of the facility that everybody has. It took him several months, but we sat down, and I think he's such a great teacher at this because he's patient and clear and really led us all through the steps in such a gentle and effective way that everybody got it and felt comfortable. So we were able to experience it and have fun with it. It was really great. So I just want to ask you one about Meditation X, the new book, and then where can we find these?
Okay, so if you're in Denver, you can go to Isis Bookstore on Broadway. They carry them, so I'm so grateful that a local store would sell them. Also, Full Moon Books carries them, but of course on Amazon, that's the best. The fastest way to get your hand on them or get the e-copy. But Meditation X, I wrote after so many people had asked me, after reading the first book or through my YouTube channel, Sean, do I need to learn how to meditate in order to do telekinesis? And I always said, no, you just do it and you'll naturally be meditating. And finally I was like, duh, like there's that question out there and I have the answer. And actually I didn't know the answer. The answer came that, oh my goodness, telekinesis is a type of meditation. And what I love about it is so many traditions teach, or they have stories of people doing miracles, levitation, bilocation, healing, clairvoyance, things like that. And I'm not a saint, but I would love to do things like that. And I think, wow, telekinesis is perhaps the easiest, I don't want to call it paranormal, but the easiest non-ordinary thing someone can do with their mind to show this non-physical connection. And so these things don't have to remain in the realm of legend or stories or just in the realm of you have to be a perfect saint or a really good meditator to do it. Obviously you don't, because it's part of who you are. So you can do it as a meditation because the object actually reflects your inner state of being. Because it really happens through the non-ego state. Non-aggression, not pushing, using patience, and as you described earlier, having that sense of appreciation for the beauty as an artist. So appreciation and sending compassion works for some people. So it connects us to our deep heart. And so I think there's something spiritual there where you can sit and that'll be your meditation where you spend a half hour looking at the object a few feet away and it's moving, but it's not so much about that, it's what's going on inside of you that's reflecting.
There was a moment when I had to step back from wanting it to move to choosing to be in flow and choosing to be like I imagined a river and just I'm flowing with the river, and that helped me get back in tune with it, and then it started moving again really gently. And I know that when I'm working with clients that I need to get out of the way in order for whatever is coming through to happen. And that entrainment is what keeps me connected in a way that's how the co-creation of a healing happens. That's my belief. And that grace, it's about grace. And that grace only comes if I submit and get out of the way and allow it to be. And so I think that's part of this human experience that you're sharing with people, is connecting with that upper alignment, with being in that flow and being in that state where we can connect through that which is. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Does that resonate at all with what you're...
It totally does. And I'm sort of humbled when you describe it that way, because what I do in teaching people this is, it's neat, it gives evidence. But what you do as a healer, it's like it's taking the concept and putting it into something really useful. You help people.
Yeah, I hope so.
So, yeah, I have no doubt, and your ability with this shows that you really have great capacity, which is great. And so I really hope that the people who learn this, they take that and then they set it aside and become you. Or something, in service. In service.
And somehow we need to bring all of these gifts and these facilities that we have into service to the human race. And we need to start sharing this and not be afraid of these things, but see it as perhaps the new way that we're going to shift into a new paradigm on the planet Earth as we move forward. And this is a great gift that you're giving people, and being able to touch into that gift. Thank you.
Thanks.